Yo, what up guys, beside here with a champion guide, champion spotlight for Ragash, a spirit affinity Skinwalker's faction champion who has a very unique design. He's quite popular these days in Raid Shadow Legends because he's one of the few defensive based damage dealers we have in the game. A legendary champion that you be happy to have on your account because you can use this champion everywhere. No joke, whether it's PvP content in the arena, you want to fight battles, or in PvE content against bosses, Hydra, Doom Tower, everywhere, or you just want to control enemies with a stun, he has it all. The first skill that he's best known for right here is this A2, which attacks all enemies. Before he does attack, he will place a decreased defense debuff for 2 turns before he attacks. So you rarely see that in champions. They normally need somebody to place the decreased defense and weaken before they go in and then do the nuking, but he will do his own decreased defense placing and also nuke with this A2 skill right here. It's amazing. This skill doesn't just do the nuking. If anybody survives and they are still standing right here, or they don't have any block debuff buff on them, he will place a stun for 1 turn after attacking. It's a 100% chance to place this stun when you spend books on this champion. Totally worth booking this skill, because if it's a long battle you want him to do this again. So totally worth booking this skill. This is where you want your books to go. On the A3, this champion is kind of, while he's waiting for his A2 to come around again, he will be keeping himself alive a little bit with a strengthen, increased speed, and of course a perfect veil buff, which means he will not be able to be targeted by the enemy except they do an AoE damage, right? This is on a 4-turn cooldown, and this strengthen and increase speed buff is not just on himself, it's for on all your other allies. So you don't need to bring in a strengthen champion and an increased speed champion. You don't even need a decreased defense champion when you're running a Ragash. Amazing right here. But you might still need a weakened champion though. On the A1, this champion attacks one enemy 2 times. He places an increased defense buff on himself for 2 turns. That means that this champion does not need anybody else to place increased defense on him. He will do the increased defense by himself. It's amazing right here. But hey, if you just want to do in an arena, this will not be a viable way of keeping increased defense on yourself. You will need somebody else to place increased defense on you, especially in the arena where you want to go in with your nuke straight, right? You want that increased defense on this champion first of all, because that's the only way to increase his damage before he goes in for the nuke. Now if you're using it in the Hydra or other content, then you'll be benefiting a lot from this increased defense if you have no other champion placing it on Ragash. He does have a passive that attacks at the start of each turn, places perfect veil buff for 1 turn on the ally with the highest attack. So he's not just protecting himself with perfect veil, strengthening and all that stuff, he's also placing perfect veil on somebody else in the team. It's amazing. Inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose defense is lower than this champion's defense. What does that mean? You want this champion to be as high defense as possible so that no matter who is going against, they will probably have lower defense than him. So you don't want to go against those huge defensive based tanky champions. Maybe HP based tanky champions, you can go against them and you do this 20% more damage against attack based champions and all that. But against bosses will always have more defense than you. This can work against bosses. He does have an aura of increased defense in all battles. That means he can be in the leader slot, boosting his own defense and that of the other allies' defense with just this aura. I'll show him out in some content soon, so you can test him out in PvP content, also in PvE content. I've had this champion for a while, but today I finally decided to build him because it's time. Out of all the attack-based nukers I have in my account, let me just go through them. 1, 2. Sometimes you just need a defensive based nuker. I already got a HP based nuker right here, right? This is HP or defensive base, I forget. Let me quickly check. This is a HP based nuker and defensive based nuker, and basically I'm saying you need a mixture of attack based nukers, HP based nukers, and defensive based nukers. Now because I recently built a bunch of them, I'm running out of gear, and so I stole gear from some people to build this Ragash. We've talked about his skill. Let's go to his artifacts and show you how I build him. Any damage dealer in Raid Shadow Legends needs to build in lethal and savage set. I think we've already known that by now in Raid, but what type of stats do you need on this champion? That's why I'm here to show you this build and all that. So since Ragash is not just a champion that does not need accuracy, you just go full crit rate, full crit damage, and full defense, you're done. Unfortunately, he needs accuracy. he does. Except you're so sure that your Prince Kama will cleanse them, or you're running this champion with another champion who places decreased defense and weaken, or somebody like what's her name now, a Lydia. You're running this champion with your Madam series. You know, there are a lot of champions who plays decreased defense or who cleanses the buff of the enemies. I just feel like because of that stun, even if you're not using him because of the decreased defense, just because of the stun, in case they survive, you need accuracy on this champion. So when you're building your crit rate, your crit damage, you have to factor in a little bit of accuracy after your defensive stat is met. So those are the priority right here. So if I should click my Savage set, you see me going for speed. Yes, this is not a champion that I want to be slow. There are ways we build our nukas in raid. We always want them to be 130 speed, 150 speed, especially our go second nukas, right? If it's the go first nukas, even go first nukas are not even that fast. We try to build them in a way that Habitat will boost them, everybody boosts them, then they do the damage. But defensive based nukas are also seen, or HP based nukas are also built slow sometimes. I did not want that to be the case for Ragash because I don't intend to use him only in the arena. I've seen some Ragash can be even be 150 speed in the arena. They just sit there waiting to get their turn. They just sit there waiting. And when they do take a turn, it's game over. That's one way to build them, but this is not a slow Ragash. So you'll be seeing me go speed in some of these substats right here in these artifact sets. So Savage is the most recommended one because Ragash is not an early game champion, but if you have him in early game, I'll recommend some gear that you can put in him, some gear sets. All right, crit rate, crit damage is what I'm looking for. Defensive substat, you can see me going for defensive substat right here. And on the glove, always crit damage because you need it. And defensive again, not enough defense, and some speed with some crit rate. Defensive on the chest because we are looking for as much defense as possible. Now, if I wanted a slow Ragash, you'll see me going defense on the boots, but this case I was going for a fast Ragash, so I'm going speed on the boots. So that's option. You guys let me know which one is fast, which one is better, a slow Ragash or a fast Ragash. I intend to use this champion for Hydra. That's why I don't want to build in with 150 speed. That's my reasoning. But if you're using it for only arena, go second team, it's fine for him to be slow. All right, on this my ring, I do have defense right here, of course, crit damage on the amulet always, and accuracy on the banner. If I did not want accuracy on my Ragash, if I just want him doing big nukes, I'll go defense on this banner also. So I try to put a little bit of defense, so you can see the stats that I'm looking for: crit rate, crit damage, defense, accuracy, and speed, because I wanted to be a little bit fast. Now, some gear recommendations if you do not have Savage set, if you're just starting raid newly. I almost put Ragash on a what do you call it now, perception set. While I was building this video, when I was building him just now, I looked at my crit damage. I was getting 190 crit damage, 180 crit damage. I was like, what is happening? I wanted 300 accuracy, right? But I couldn't meet 300 accuracy and 250 crit damage on lethal set and on Savage set. Why? Because I have built a lot of champions for this my champion guide, and I did not want to steal gear from those champions for Ragash. So that's why I was like running out of gear. So lethal set is more of an equivalent to Savage set, right? But for newer players who are just coming in, who have not started farming the Fire Knight at a high level, you want to go with this full perception because accuracy is what you benefit from him. That decreases defense, and that is stun. Now, even if you're running him with full accuracy perception set, you still need that crit damage on the glove if you can find it, and that crit damage amulet if you can make that possible. Even if you're running accuracy perception set, that doesn't mean you will not go 100% crit rate. Look for that also. So this is like the beginner recommendation for Ragash. Perception, you can't go wrong with it ever. If I went perception set, I'll probably do around 300 crit damage, 300 speed, and maybe 150 300 accuracy and maybe 200 speed. But I didn't. Ignore defense is just too much to look over. You cannot just say I don't want this 25% ignore defense. I wanted so much of the ignore defense from lethal or Savage set that I even went to the Masteries and selected this one that even has a chance to even ignore more defense. That's the Masteries for Ragash that I put on him. You will find options on the LH website, but for some reason I saw the option right here was selected. Sniper was used on the LH website, and I was like, it will not increase the chances of him placing a sleep, and also I don't think this was a good one. That's why I went towards this way instead, because this is still going to be useful against battles that go on for a long time in PvE content like the Hydra. Alright, so that's this Masteries. You might not want to go this way if you don't have a Kaima or somebody who will put them to sleep, especially for PvP content. This opportunities might not be the best way to go if you're not going to stun or sleep the enemies. But since Ragash is going to stun them, that's why most people are going towards this way. If he stuns them and he's going against to hit them, increases damage inflicted to targets under stun by 12%. So you don't need a Kaima to sleep them before he nukes. He can stun them first, and then if they're still alive, go in there and finally hit them with 12% increased damage. That's why he's recommended to have this opportunist. And of course, accuracy. Now, if you do not have enough defense on this champion, you're lacking defense. I've seen some Ragash go towards this tough skin to even add a little bit of more defense right here and come towards this retribution. But I wanted more accuracy. When you have accuracy from your Masteries coming in, that means my gear will need less accuracy. I don't need to go accuracy chest. I don't need accuracy on my substat of my Savage set. That's why I went towards that 3. Defense and support is not the way to go. Ragash is the damage dealer, so you must go towards that 3. Now, if you're building this champion only for the Hydra, only for PvE content against bosses, dragon, dungeon, and all that, you want War Master, right? War Master is the best way to go. So he's not a triple hitter, so this is definitely not the Giant Slayer. So, but if you're lacking crit damage, maybe Flawless Execution, but I wouldn't recommend that. It's either War Master for PvE content, and of course Hem Smasher for PvP battles, arena, live arena, and 3v3 arena. So I'm looking to use him in PvP most of the time, despite me having some defensive based and HP based nukers. You can't have enough, you need more. All right, it's time for me to go into some battles now that I've explained for these blessings, some recommendations for blessing. Any blessing that adds a little bit of more defense to Ragash. Now, for damage dealers who always want to go towards this wall and just select Soul Reap, no? In this case, Soul Reap will add attack stats to him or HP stats. It doesn't boost his defense a little bit. So I'm just looking for any blessing that will boost his defense a little bit, and I look for it and saw Brimstone is gonna add HP. I don't need it, and that's for PvE content. But for PvP arena, since he has accuracy, right, Polymorph will add a little bit more defense. If you can have that unlocked, I would recommend Polymorph on this champion. But hey, let me know what you think about it on the comments below. All right, it's time for me to battle and see how Ragash will do. Now, like I said, this champion can be used everywhere. It can be your campaign farmer, it can be your dungeon, it can be in faction war, the arena, clan boss, and even Doom Tower, Hydra, everywhere. It's not a champion that I'll tell you use him here and use him there. No, he can be used everywhere. So I'm going to test him out first of all in some content like the spider, where we normally need somebody to stun these spider links. I'll test this out in dungeon in 20. I did not prepare this team ahead of time, but I'll just put Ragash. I'll not run it to the end. I just want to see him stun this spider wave. That's what I want to see. Can Ragash stun the spider wave? Recently used Ragash right here. So that's all I want to see, if he will stun the spider wave, and I'll close the battle. But just to be safe a little bit, let me protect him. Just want to see, because when you have Ragash stunning the spider wave, then you can bring in your Mordecai to place the HP burn, or your Cold Arts to be doing the nuking and all that good stuff. I just want to see if this stun skill will work. Come on, let's go. All right, this is it, right? This is probably gonna kill all the spider links, but let's just see. Every spiderling was stunned. All of them was stunned. The stun is 100% chance to land. He is Spirit Affinity going against a Spirit Affinity boss, so of course he's gonna land. So you can see early game perception set stunner. That's his job. I know it's a 1-turn stun. Stuns are usually for 1 turn. Even Seal the Drake does stuns for 1 turn, right? No 2-turn stun out there except for Terrell. But hey, that is one way to use him as a champion who is gonna control enemies like this. If you don't have a freeze, normally people use freeze and HP burn right here. You don't have one of those champions who plays AoE freeze on the enemies. You can use Ragash with Seal the Drake to stun this, control them consistently, so your code out your amigas and everybody can go to town and get this spider done. That's the first content that you can use him, especially in early game. Now the same thing will work the same way for dungeon waves. I don't care whether it's dragon, whether it's fire knight, he will be helpful against the wave content when you bring him in there for that type of content. So let me just take out my champions and bring in Ragash right here to just do a sample battle to see him stopping the enemy from moving. I've not done a damage test. I'll put together a team to do a damage test. Don't worry, we'll do that. And no, ninja, come on. We want Ragash to be the person doing the control, not you. I didn't know I had a ninja in there. Let me do a damage test at all. So for a damage test, we normally want increased defense in the leader slot. We want increased defense champion right here. And then who else do we need? Decrease defense and weaken. Here is it, Lydia. Now I'm not relying on Ragash to do his own decrease defense or his own weaken. I'm coming with Lydia. So with this now, I have a perfect opportunity to one-shot the enemies, right? Let me just do the test. I'm not running it all the way to the end. I want to see how much damage we can do to these enemies. Slow speed. I didn't bring in somebody to boost my damage with an aura. I mean with a passive, but let's go. And increase defense. This is the skill that you want to start the battle with for your Mitrala Life Bane. Everybody has a Mitrala Life Bane if you've been fighting the Hydra long enough, right? So this is one of the champions that can boost Ragash defense. There are lots of other ones. And that's increased defense right here. So when he hits, oh, this is wrong affinity. I'll probably get a weak hit right here. Let me do it in the right affinity. This is the wrong affinity. Ragash's spirit, he needs to be used against force. Not magic, definitely not magic. Let me go to stage 19. Same team, battle. I've slept on this champion for so long because I had options. Even now that I'm building him, he's definitely not going to be the #1 champion I run to. I'm used to my old nukas. Maybe that's why. But definitely a champion you should look at if you just obtain him. Increase defense right here. All right, now let's see the damage. With his A2, can I nuke them down? This champion does not have weaken, so she will not. Let me see how much. 141. That is a cool animation right here. That is one hell of a cool animation that just happened right here. What about his A1 without decreased defense and weaken? Okay, now we have decreased defense and weaken out there. I want to see the A1. Don't let this champion cleanse anything, please. Now A1. I'm going for somebody who has a weaken. 54k, 40k. Definitely this A1 can one-shot enemies in the arena. That's what it means. It's not just his A2 that can do damage right here. Did I even show my total stats for my Ragash? I don't think I did. It's time for me to go into the content that we've all been waiting for. PvP. PvP. That's what a lot of people will use this champion for. Live arena is still right here, but it just has 1 minute on it. Let's go into the PvP content. I'll show you two types of Ragash teams. The go first Ragash team that I'll probably never use, and the go second team, which I'll use a lot, I think. So the go first team, you actually want to go against other speed teams, right? Like this is a speed team that probably go first. They have a tanky champion right here. This is the go second team, and this is the go first team. The go first team, you always want to go first with an arbiter, with somebody to go first and neutralize the enemy's damage or control them in some way or something. But in this case, I think I'll use somebody else who has the ability to do more of a control, so this dude right here doesn't get any ideas. I don't have a protector. You can always bring in somebody to protect Ragash instead, like a Necrit or a Vogot. There are many ways to protect your defensive champion, but I want to go first. I don't care about being protected. And now I'm first. Now I neutralize their damage, so they'll all be using their A1s. Please don't put some weird debuff on me. Now I'm going to do increased defense because I want to actually nuke them down in one hit. All right, it's time, right? I thought it was going to get me fear. Boost up. I don't need increased attack. I have the increased defense, the main debuff I need. And now let's put on slow speed so we can see the damage. And boom. The arbiter did not have decreased defense on her. He landed that decreased defense on the arbiter, and he went in for that nuke on the arbiter, and she disappeared into thin air, which is perfect. This is what you need to happen in your Ragash. And now the battle can slowly end if this champion can let me kill him. Ragash, go in with your A1. Oh, he went in with his A3. Come on. Be smart, Ragash. The champion is already dead. Why are you using your A3? Hiding under veil, when you can just go in with the A1 and end this battle quickly. That's it. 15k, 15k. Okay, we'll take it. So that's a go second team. You go first. I mean, that's a go first team. You go first. You boost your defenses with somebody like a Mitrala or somebody else who you have doing increased defense for you. And a perfect champion for a go first team for increased defense is, what's her name? Sifi. Sifi is perfect as a champion who can place that increased defense on you if you're going first. Now for a go second team, let me go against this team which is probably going to go first, and then I'll select this my go second option that I saw right here. I put in this team, and I saw this on another YouTube, I forgot his name, but basically Seeker, we already know if you hit Seeker, he will have increased defense. That's what his passive does. He will just place that increased defense. So I don't actually need to have a Mitrala right here. Why do I have a Mitrala? Cleanse. I don't even need a cleanser because I'll be protected. So let me just use somebody else. Somebody else more tanky to even make it more difficult for them to kill me, right? This is more tankier. So this is like a go second team. It's hard to kill, or maybe even a Duchess can even add to this team, but you want this champion in the leader slot. He's adding 30% increased defense, just what you need. And of course he needs to be in the first slot, so when he's hit, increased defense can be applied to Ragash. Let's see this battle, how it goes, and hopefully we can survive their first hit. They don't have a big damage dealer than Biggin. Is even negative affinity to Ragash. That means it's gonna be a pain for that Biggin. And that's the fear that I was trying to avoid. That's why I wanted to bring in a Mitrala. See, now I'm stunned. But my Ragash is protected all the way, right? He's protected. So I did not get that stun. I did not get anything on me like that. It's time for me to do a little bit of... And now, I don't have decreased events on some of the champions, right? But Ragash can place it and nuke them down. If you're alive, you get stunned. See, yeah, I saw that stun happen right there on this champion. So this battle is probably just ended. I will just have to slowly take them down. But the major threats are down. Biggin was not a major threat. Abita, I think, and others were the major threats. So those are the two types of ways you can use your Ragash. Go first or go second. But I would highly recommend you go second on your Ragash. And you need accuracy, as you can see, in most instances when you're going second, to be able to place your decreased defense or be able to stun them if they survive your nuke. The only reason why these enemies are surviving my nukes is because my crit damage is not above 250, right? I'm currently chilling at what? I didn't show my total stats. Let me quickly go to recently used and show you my Ragash total stats. Savage set Ragash total stats. 40k HP is low. I would have preferred around 50k, but I was trying to aim for a 5k defense and I couldn't reach it even after spending a lot of glyphs. Maybe with some 6-star glyphs I can hit that 50k and 5k mark for defense. And then for speed, I wanted to go above 200 speed. That's the sweet spot for me. My crit rate is 101, which is perfect, and you can see my crit damage is not what I want. I want 250 crit damage, but unfortunately my best crit damage set are on somebody else, are on some other champions who I don't want to steal them from. So I normally do these champion guides and put this gear on these champions and leave it on them. I don't try to steal gear from everybody else and try to impress you with a 300 crit damage Ragash. I try to build it the way I will use this champion in raid, and this is how I'm going to use it for a long time until new gear comes around, and then maybe we'll revise it in another time. For now, this is my Ragash build, and this is how I'm going to use him with 286 accuracy. Is not enough for content like the high levels of the Hydra Brutal. Might need an increased accuracy champion to help him along, but that's totally fine and useful in that content. All right, you most likely even debuff a lot of champions in the arena with this 200 or 300 accuracy, as you can see, or even 250. That's the sweet spot, I think. That's my Ragash guide. That's what I think about this champion. He's amazing. I did not get to see him being crazy and nuking everything down because of my champion stats, but hey, you know what to do better. Go to 300 crit damage if you can make that happen, but I just wanted to give beginner players or those who don't have an idea how to build him, how this champion works, and now you know, don't put attack on this champion. That's the no. He doesn't even need high amount of HP if you have somebody else protecting him in content like the arena, like you see me protecting with my Necrit or with my these other champions, Seeker, or even with somebody to cleanse him so he can get his stun. You need a cleanser along with your Ragash, else he will be stunned and yeah, or provoked or something, and then you will die. Let me know how you built your Ragash and where you use him. Like I said, he's useful everywhere, but I'd like to know if there is some other content that I did not talk about in this video. Help me hit like in this video and comment below the next champion you want me to do a champion guide on, and I'll get right to it. Later, guys.